Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news sponsored by Unibet. You can get more Manchester United transfer news and breaking transfer news. The link is in the video description for the Unibet vlog. There's some really good writers on there, and there's a very good article on there about Alexis Sanchez actually. We know he's going to be here and how his Copa America form could reveal the sprouts of positivity for Manchester United next season. Really good article, read about that. Also about a few signings for Manchester United as well. Links in the video description. But let's get on with Manchester United transfer news for today. And I tell you what, I'm tired. And I'm not tired because I'm tired because I'm tired. I'm tired because I'm tired of Manchester United's transfer window. I'm very happy with Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James. I think we've seen some real positivity from them in what we've seen so far from the pre-season. But it's knowing that there are now 3 weeks left of this transfer window. Exactly 3 weeks. 21 days. 3 weeks is 21 days to get probably, if I'm being optimistic, 5 deals done. Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Sean Longstaff, Lukaku out, Darmian out. They're the sort of 5 that I think need to happen. I mean, Darmian can go after August the 8th, to be honest, because of the Italian transfer window. But Lukaku needs to be gone. So there's 4 deals to do in a week. And of course, we're going to start off with Paul Pogba because Manchester United and Paul Pogba, Mino Raiola yesterday announcing De Ligt, and he gave away a few quotes. He said, you know, basically what he was saying is the situation's the same, but it can change day to day. But basically, in essence, he said the end of the story has not been written yet in relation to Paul Pogba and Manchester United. And this is what I said yesterday. Some people think that it's it's wrong because I don't delete my tweets. I leave it up. So when Pogba said that he wanted to go a new challenge, I was like, if you don't want to be here, you can go. And I stand by that. But yesterday after the game where he played really well, I think I've not flip-flopped on my opinion on this. And I think a lot of United fans feel like me. When Pogba said he wanted to go in June, your love for your club kicks in and you go, get out, go away. But reality then bites 6 weeks later because we've only got 3 weeks of this transfer window left. So if we had 3 months of it left, I'd still be saying get lost, Pogba, if you don't want to be here. But now my love for the club kicks in so much that I'm like, realistically, can we let Pogba go? How can we let Pogba go? We haven't even got Bruno Fernandes and Longstaff in, who were going to come in if we thought Pogba was staying. If Pogba goes as well, how the bloody hell are we getting 3 midfielders in? The time isn't there. So it goes back to what I said sort of back in May, is that, look, if Pogba wants to go, can we get him to stay for another year to help us replace? And I think that's the situation we're in. If Pogba comes out again and says, I don't want to be at this club, I want to be somewhere else, I'd rather finish mid-table and get rid of him. But the situation we're in at the moment, I just feel that Pogba and United need to stay together for another year. It makes our situation better, and our situation is the one I'm interested in. But Mino Raiola, I think that I agree with what Draughty was saying the other night. I think if Pogba was to sign a new contract, he'll still push to go in a year or two anyway. So he's going to go at some point. I wouldn't give him the new contract. I'd just try and get him to stay for a year. But Raiola's a worry and Pogba's a worry because the end of this story has not been written yet. And it could go bad for United. So we've got to be really careful. We've got to look about where we can look in the midfield. There was a story coming in yesterday from Italian reports, Il Tempo, I believe, saying that, I read it on Sport Witness, saying that Manchester United are going to go in with a bid between 80 and 90 million euro, which many believe 90 million euro will be enough for Milinkovic Savic. If United are going for Milinkovic Savic, then Pogba's going. That's how I feel about it. I mean, Milinkovic Savic is not a target for Manchester United at this time. He may not even be a target if Pogba goes. But what I would say is that if Pogba is going, United will surely buy his replacement before he goes. You can't sell Pogba for 100 and whatever million and then start going, hello Lazio, can we sign Milinkovic Savic? You're desperate, aren't you? Yeah, and you've got 120 million pounds in your pocket, haven't you? Yeah, we'll have 120 million pounds, please. No. Your transfer window closes in 3 days. We'll have 120 million pounds, please. Okay. So United have got to... We're going to know if Pogba's going because United will have to, if they've got any sense, sign his replacement before we sell Pogba. And I think Real Madrid would be agreeable to that because Real Madrid have effectively done all their transfer business anyway. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with Pogba. I sort of feel now he's going to stay. But I don't know why I feel that, because logically he wants to go. So we'll have to wait and see. If he does go, interestingly enough, I mean, Milinkovic Savic going to cost you about 80 million quid, 24 years of age. Interesting player as to whether he can bring his form to England. But what's really interesting to me is, and we'll talk about Bruno Fernandes in a minute because I don't want him to be part of the Pogba replacement conversation because he's not. But Bruno Fernandes is 24, the same age as Milinkovic Savic, and he's available for around 50 to 60 million pounds. But Lazio want 80 million pounds for Milinkovic Savic. There is no difference between the two players. When there is, one's from a different country, one's taller, you know, all that jazz. But actually, the season Milinkovic Savic had last year compared to the season Bruno Fernandes is having, Bruno Fernandes had the better season. They're both internationals. I'd say Portugal are better than Serbia. So, you know, I don't see why Milinkovic... maybe the Portuguese league players are cheaper, but there isn't a lot of difference between the two players, but there's a big difference in their price comparison, which is quite interesting. But if we don't go for Milinkovic Savic, where do you go? Well, Pochettino was speaking about Eriksen yesterday. He said that there's a lot of interest in him, but obviously they hope that they keep him. Christian Eriksen is an interesting player because he's Premier League proven. He's only just turned 27. Well, I think it was February time. So he's only just 27 and a half. He's only got 1 year left on his contract as well. And apparently he wants a new challenge. Well, I wouldn't have thought Spurs to Manchester United was a new challenge, but you never know. You never know. And he's certainly not going to get the challenge I think he thought he was going to get. I think he thought maybe Real Madrid, maybe Barcelona, maybe a Juventus, but none of those clubs are looking like they'd take him. I don't think he's a Bayern Munich player. And I don't really think he's a PSG player, which brings you back to the Premier League. He's certainly not going to go to Man City. Watch him sign for Man City now. And Manchester United suddenly becomes the viable option because Chelsea aren't going to get him. Arsenal aren't going to get him. And I don't think Liverpool would be in for him either. So Christian Eriksen is an interesting one. The issue with Christian Eriksen is I don't think you could get Christian Eriksen to Manchester United if you start negotiating now. And there's only 3 weeks left in the window. I don't think you can do that deal very quickly. United do not have a good track record of working with Tottenham Hotspur. So signing Christian Eriksen, then selling Pogba, I think that rules him out as well. But 70 million, it would be a good signing if Pogba goes. And beyond Milinkovic, Savic and Eriksen, again, this is the problem United have. And this is why I said yesterday on my match reaction, we almost need Pogba to stay, and it's how we get that to happen without giving him a new contract, which I think is a big mistake, because I don't think you should chuck money or a captain's armband at a player who doesn't want to be here to make them stay. I just don't think that's right. But we may have to do that because we do pretty much not have time to replace him unless we go for Milinkovic Savic, because he is the most gettable option, I think, at the moment. And that story could be all about nonsense anyway. I don't think we're in for Milinkovic Savic. I think that's all about getting PSG to just go and buy him. So it's interesting. I mean, beyond Eriksen, beyond Milinkovic Savic, a Pogba sort of player. I mean, there are players out there, Thomas Partey, but he's not a Pogba sort of player. You'd be looking at maybe a James Maddison. And again, how the hell are you going to get him out of Leicester? So it's a very difficult situation, and this is what makes me believe Pogba will stay. But if he forces a move and wants to go, United could be in a lot of trouble. We certainly don't have a Pogba replacement in that team at the moment. Don't come at me with Pereira or Fred or something like that. We don't have that. You'd have to go out and spend money. And I think that's what Ollie was sort of saying as well. If players go, we'd have to replace them. So let's wait and see what happens with Pogba. But as Raiola sort of said, the story is still left to be finished. And how it finishes, we'll see. And I think the story that Mino Raiola wants finishing is money in his pocket. And that's either a new contract at United or a move away. I just hope we don't give him a new contract, because I just don't think that's the answer. I still think he'll be gone in a year's time. And I can't see Paul Pogba finishing his career at United. I don't think that was ever the plan, but we'll see. Anyway, let's talk about Bruno Fernandes in the middle, because this is a deal that needs to get done. It needs to get done. And you know what? We've been here before, but Ebola, the Portuguese outlet, are saying that there is Manchester United are in pole position, and this deal could get done by the end of the week. Well, I mean, I'm not jumping on that, but hopefully something's going to happen with this Bruno Fernandes deal, because we are watching Manchester United play pre-season games, and as they tick by, we are also seeing days pass by, and we also know that Manchester United midfield, it's not good enough. It isn't good enough. And you know what? I saw yesterday some people saying, and I sort of agreed with it, Mason Greenwood has solved Manchester United's right wing issue. I'm happy with Mason Greenwood to play out on the right wing, but let's not pretend he's suddenly solved an issue that we were going to go and buy one. I think it's a very, very, very cynical move by Manchester United, and a very fortunate move for us United fans that we've got a player like Mason Greenwood who can play that position. I don't think United had ever had any intention of signing a right winger. I just think that we're lucky that Mason Greenwood's there, because if he wasn't there, we'd be playing Mata and Lingard there. I don't think there was ever any intention of it happening. So I hope Mason Greenwood can grab that opportunity, because I don't think we're going to sign a right winger. There just isn't time now. There isn't time, not with 3 weeks left. We're not going to get 2 midfielders, a centre-back, a right winger, and maybe a replacement for Lukaku in 3 weeks when we've done 2 deals in 2 months. It isn't going to happen, is it? But the Fernandes deal has to happen. That midfield is not good enough. McTominay did quite well yesterday, and I think it's a big season for him. Pereira did quite well. But in my mind, in a team that's top 4, I don't think either of those two are starters yet. Maybe they can grow into that, but you can't go into a season with that to grow. And of course, Matic looks absolutely atrocious. He seems to have carried on his form from last year. So that midfield is weak. It is weak, and Bruno Fernandes has got to come in, and hopefully Sean Longstaff will come in. With regards to Longstaff, Steve Bruce has now been named as Newcastle manager, and you know what? I think the owner, Mike Ashley, likes money, so I think he wouldn't mind Longstaff going, and maybe Steve Bruce, old friend of Ollie, maybe he can help us out, because we need to get some wheels on these deals. Deals on wheels is what we need, and Fernandes, Maguire, Longstaff, we need to get cracking on those deals, because those 3 players will strengthen that squad immeasurably and be a big boost to us, and if we don't get them, we're in problems. We're in problems. I would go as far as to say, and I don't know what you think, if we don't bring Bruno Fernandes in and we bring Longstaff in, we're not going to finish top 4 next season. I just don't think that midfield's got the depth. I really don't think it's got the depth of quality at all. And we are running out of time. And I believe we're running out of time because we're just not very good at transfer windows, and we need a director of football. But we'll see. There's still time, so there's still hope. In relation to hope, let's talk about Harry Maguire actually as well. Harry Maguire, not a done deal. I know Flex spoke about this on the vlog last night, but Harry Maguire is not a done deal, and I think this is where you've got to be very dangerous, very careful, because I think people are saying it's a done deal because they know it's going to happen, but it ain't a done deal at the moment, because a done deal would not mean Harry Maguire played in a pre-season friendly for Leicester. You know, you don't have a done deal that you're waiting for the marketing and everything before you announce it and then let him play in a pre-season friendly. That just doesn't happen, because what if he'd broken his leg? You know, it's not a done deal. It's not a done deal because there's not an agreed fee. I think you listen to what Brendan Rodgers said, that, speaking about, you can understand why he'd want to go to a bigger club. Harry Maguire obviously wants to go to a bigger club, with all due respect to Leicester. The final piece in the jigsaw is the valuation and meeting that valuation. And I think at this point, I'm past caring what we pay. As long as we don't pay 150 million. If we pay 80 million, yes, it's overpriced, but, beggars can't be choosers. We've got 3 weeks left and we need a centre-back. And don't come at me saying those centre-backs that we've got are good enough. They're just not. They're just not good enough. And Harry Maguire will bring something that we haven't got, which is somebody who's dominant in the air. So we need to get cracking. And to be honest with you, I was looking at the way the next couple of weeks, or the next 3 weeks go, because it's 3 weeks today the transfer window closes. So you've got Singapore on Saturday against Inter Milan. Then they go to Shanghai to play Inter Milan next Thursday. Then they fly back, and then they've got the following Wednesday in Norway. And then on the Saturday it's Cardiff. And then you've got a week before the following game against Chelsea. So I don't know whether we're going to be really busy towards the end of the transfer window, whether we're going to... But I feel we've got to do something in the next week. In the next week, something's got to happen. I don't think we can be sat here in a week's time saying there's 2 weeks to go, we still need three signings. I think that leaves us with too much to do. So we've got to get moving. We've got to get moving. And I do think Harry Maguire will come. I just think it's about getting the right deal. And I mean, Lukaku, not played for Manchester United yet. As Ollie said, it's a shame because that's 2 45-minute sessions he could have had. We play Inter Milan on Saturday lunchtime. Will he play in that game? I've got a funny feeling he will, I think everyone will expect him not to play because he's going to go to Inter Milan. And I think he will play. I've just got a funny feeling that he will. But if he's not going to play, he needs to go. It's as simple as that, isn't it? So 3 weeks to go on this transfer window. How confident are you now? Get in the comments today and tell us what you're predicting. How many signings you're going to do. I am still going to be confident and say we will sign 3 players and sell Lukaku in the next 3 weeks. I think 4 deals is just about doable in the time that we've got left. I don't think we're going to see Pogba going, and I don't know why. because I don't think there's time to replace him. So I don't think Pogba will go. I think Darmian will happen after August the 8th because it'll be a Serie A move. And I think that, you know, people like Rojo will probably still be here next season because we can't offload him. And they're certainly the same as Alexis Sanchez. So I think we'll do 3 deals. Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Shaw and Longstaff, and Lukaku will go out in the next 3 weeks. What do you think? Get your comments in below. We've got a fantastic interview coming up at lunchtime with James Cooper from Sky Sports. You'll recognise the name and you'll recognise the person when you see him. Really good chat. He'd spoken to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the day before, and then Flex has interviewed him the next day. So a little bit of insight, especially around Lingard and a few things there. Very interesting interview. That's going up for you at lunchtime. Keep an eye out for that. Smash the like on the video and take a look at the link in the video description for the blog. Really good article on Alexis Sanchez in there. Link in the video description. I'll speak to you all later. Thanks for watching.